Welcome to the episode 7 of the Series Football Heads podcast. Today, as always, I have Tom with me. Tom?
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
All right. Well, today, not a whole lot going on other than it looks like Eagles and Cards swapped defensive players. Patrick Chung has been indicted in a cocaine felony.
Oh,
And
really? I didn't hear that.
yeah, that came out earlier this morning.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
You
And
know, you just can't have too good a job and make too much money that you can't get involved in a cocaine trafficking deal.
yep. Le'Veon Bell has some positive things to say of Sam Darnold, it looks like.
Oh, that's nice.
And the Cards agreed to a 1-year deal with Crabtree.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
And the Chargers brought back Dontrell Inman, who was just recently cut from the Patriots.
Yep. Oh, well, no wonder why they signed Crabtree. They cut Cardinals cut former first rounder Kevin White.
Oh, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin. Was it Kevin White?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that yesterday.
So
He never did anything. I mean, he had what 3 years with the Bears and never really
No.
accomplished anything at all. They finally cut him loose, and he's one of those guys, I guess, that just wanted the paycheck but didn't want to play.
Yep. And I can't get around people like that. And you know what? I'm actually going to turn that ring light off, or I'm going to get rid of the picture. I'll leave it against the computer for now. There we go. Sorry about that. I just looked up and noticed that giant ring in the background. I'm like, yep, nope, can't have that.
Okay, there you go.
So, anyways, looks like the Cardinals and the Eagles swapped defensive players today. It looks like about a rare player-to-player trade. Arizona Cardinals, according to Ian Rappaport, have sent safety Rudy Ford to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for defensive tackle Bruce Hector. Both teams have since confirmed the trade.
Well, that's nothing earth-shattering there, but I hope it works out for both of them.
Yeah. So Ford was a 6th-round pick in 2017 and earned a roster spot. And Hector signed as an undrafted free agent. So a player-for-player trade there is definitely not too big of a deal then. But it just seems interesting. They also have here other news they're monitoring around the league. Let me go ahead and pull that up for everybody and for you. And there we go. The Denver Broncos coach Vic Fangio announced that they are starting Kevin Hogan at quarterback for the Saturday's preseason road game against the Rams. The Jets are working out wide receiver Quincy. I couldn't even try to pronounce it. Abijo? I have no clue. The Colts have signed defensive tackle Johnny Robinson and team waived running back James Williams. And the Chargers signed safety Nasir Adderley to return.
Well, yeah, they didn't sign him. He just returned to practice. He's been injured, which is interesting. I haven't seen him at all. Even when we were at training camp, he was on the sidelines and have not seen him on the field at all. So it'll be interesting to see what he does, particularly with the absence now of Derwin James, who went down with a broken foot. That was the practice I was at that he got hurt. And we didn't see anything. We didn't see him hobbling. We didn't see any indication that he was hurt at all. But apparently he had a screw in his foot from his freshman year of college. And it bent during that practice. And they had to go take it out. And it's 3 to 4 months.
It's almost the whole season.
Maybe he's back in December. Maybe he's back for playoffs. I don't know. Yeah. But he's pretty much done for the season. Yeah, which is a tremendous blow.
I definitely have to admit that I did read that wrong. I don't know why. I saw safety and I read the word signed too. I don't know why.
That's quite all right. That's why I'm here to keep you on the straight and narrow. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see this kid now get back on the field and see if he can really help fill that gap. We do have Adrian Phillips, which is a big plus. I mean, he was in the Pro Bowl last year as a special teamer and played very well out of the safety position. So we'll see how that goes. A lot of chatter, though, the last 2 days about Zeke Elliott and Melvin Gordon. And while everyone seems to be supporting them, nobody seems to understand their thinking.
Yeah.
They're just hanging out there expecting to get a deal that's not coming. And in Dallas's case, Dallas just signed the linebacker and Jalen Smith, and to a nice deal, 5 years, $65 million.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised, as Pat keeps saying, look for Byron Jones to get signed next. And then those three other guys that are sitting there thinking they were top of the mountain are now going to look at that cap number shrinking and realize they better get their ass in gear and come to an agreement, because there's only so much money to spend, and you're not going to be able to spend more than that. So I think starting next season, one of those three will be gone from Dallas.
Oh yeah.
Just because they won't be able to afford to sign them all.
No, they won't. And that's the hard part is, the salary cap allows the players to be able to move around, but then it makes it harder for the fans to stay with the team if their favorite player leaves.
Yeah.
The true fans will stay with their team, obviously, but you have those people that are fans of players, not teams. So
right. I've got a bunch of Charger friends that now are Saints friends just because of Drew Brees.
Oh, talk about a clickbait headline here. Jerry Jones after Tony Pollard impresses. Zeke who?
Yeah. And Zeke and his representatives responded in a very negative fashion. They thought it was very disrespectful for him to say that.
Why does that not surprise me?
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah. So
I think it's pretty disrespectful, Zeke, that you're holding out on a contract you still have 2 years left on.
Yeah. Let's get to the elephant in the room. Patrick Chung indicted by a grand jury for a charge of cocaine possession in Belknap County, New Hampshire. The attorney's office confirmed with the NFL on Thursday.
Was he still active on the Patriots?
He is.
Yeah, not anymore.
The incident occurred on June 25th in Meredith, where he has a residence. And the felony charge is the only one that he is facing, and no other individuals are being involved. The Patriots and the NFL are both taking the tact of we are waiting for basically the police and the legal process to complete, and then we'll do what we need to do. Chung, who has been a key piece of the Patriots' defense on the 3 Super Bowl championships he's been a part of, just signed a 1-year extension in April. So I read that this morning, and I'm just like, going to have to touch on it because we have no other choice but to touch on it at that point.
It's just as astounding. Like I said, you just can't have too many good-paying jobs where you have notoriety as well as money, and just not enough. You need a little side business.
Apparently so.
What a shame.
Amari Cooper is saying he's not worried about his heel injury. Heel injuries are not something you should mess around with, because all it takes is one good hit and then your Achilles tendon is gone.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how severe it is.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten the impression that, like, if we were playing real games, that he would be playing. So
yeah, and that's just it. He'll be out there for 3 or 4 snaps and then sit down the rest of the day. Although this is week 3, so this is generally when most of the first stringers take most of the.
The pattern that I'm seeing develop is the teams that have not done inter-squad scrimmages or inter-team scrimmages are adhering to that philosophy and still playing their starters. We will play them for the most of the first half. The teams that have had a lot of team-to-team scrimmages, they're not doing that. Phillip Rivers said that he had, between the joint practice with the Rams and the Saints, he had 150 snaps during those practices. He wouldn't get 150 snaps in the entire preseason. So him not playing in the preseason games is meaningless as far as I can see. And I'm sure that works across the board. I understand Drew Brees is going to play this week. I saw the Seattle game last week, and Russell Wilson had some considerable time in there. But for the most part, I am such of the philosophy that, these guys get hurt and, your season goes away. So why play them in a meaningless game?
Yep. I totally agree with you on that. I honestly think the preseason should be about the 3rd and 4th stringers that are trying to compete to stay on the roster.
Yeah.
You know, and yes, you still want to give your starters and second string guys some time, but you know that should be devoted mostly into the practice sessions. But which
Now,
is my
did you
opinion.
watch the Seattle game last
No, I
week?
haven't had a chance this week with what's going on at
There was
work.
an interesting when you watch it. There was an interesting scenario that came to pass, and now I'm not remembering who was quarterbacking, but the Bears are the Vikings. It was the
Yeah, it
Vikings
was the
in
Vikings.
Seattle, right?
Yeah,
So the
Vikings.
Vikings are moving. They're moving the ball. They're coming down toward the goal line. Quarterback throws to the deep corner, left corner of the end zone. The ball gets knocked away. Everybody gets up, walks back to the huddle. Then you see the replay, and clearly the defender has got the receiver's shoulder pads and he's holding them down. And as the receiver goes up to try to catch it, you can see him pulling him down. No call on the play. I looked at it and I went, you should challenge that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they should challenge that, but they don't. On the very next play, quarterback throws an interception for a pick six. And I went, wow. If they had challenged that play and gotten that call,
Well, no,
they would have
1 yard.
been it was in the end zone, so they would have been on the 2 yard line.
Yeah.
So, or the 1 yard line. So it was an amazing little turn of events how not utilizing the new rule hurt them so much.
Yeah, but they still ended up winning the game, so it doesn't matter.
Well, that's beside the point. You won a preseason game.
Oh,
Congratulations.
I know, but I mean, I agree with you. They should have.
No, but Seattle intercepted and ran it back for 6 points. It was like an 89-yard interception return or something. But had he challenged that pass interference call, and it was really clear on the replay, there was no question about it. Boom, that would have put him on the 1 yard line, and that could have very well, made a huge difference in the game.
Do you remember what time or what quarter it was in specifically?
I don't.
Okay.
I want to say it was early because I think it was the first score. I think it was their first touchdown.
Okay. When I click on the game, it'll give me the scores, and I can go check that.
Yeah, check that look for the 85, 89-yard touchdown return.
Yeah. Let's see here. Le'Veon Bell is saying Sam Darnold reminds him of a lot of himself. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Nah, Darnold comes to work every day. Hasn't caused any trouble. Has never been arrested. Doesn't do drugs. Has never been suspended. I don't see the comparison at all.
Yeah. Let's see. This is from Bell. Sam has all the intangibles. He has the mindset. You can see him. He's a competitor. Every day in practice, he literally wants to get better. It's hard to do. It's hard to describe someone like that because I'm like that, says the guy who sat out for a whole season.
Okay. Well, it's good to have self-image,
Yeah.
positive self-image.
But I mean, if you are a hard worker, you do get rewarded in this league. I mean, look at Russell Wilson, the way he runs his schedule. He's first in, last out, like you would want a starting quarterback to be, anyways. But, he also knows when to balance his work life and family life. So,
Jalen Smith was the same way. I mean, he just got that big contract, and both Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett were just talking about how since he was drafted, he just came in and he just went to work. He hasn't caused any trouble. He's stayed focused. And he himself said that they took a $5 million gamble on him because of that foot injury. And he felt obligated to, pay that back. And he did by his play on the field. And now they're, for the reward, he gets that big contract.
Let's
see, guys, that's all you have to do is come in, work hard, and boom, you'll get your extension.
Yeah, but you really expect them to.
Well, I fully believe that if Melvin Gordon was in camp, they'd have a deal put together. But the Chargers aren't budging on what they're doing now, particularly since he's not there. I know that Dallas has offered, Prescott and Cooper and Zeke a deal. None of them have accepted it, but it was offered, and they've got stuff on the table to start working with. I heard the other day that the initial rumor was that Prescott wanted $40 million a year, and apparently that's not the case. So I don't know what else is going on there.
Here's the thing about quarterbacks with me and wanting paid. Yes, they're one of the most integral parts of your offense. But if you haven't proven yourself, you shouldn't be asking for money where Tom Brady and Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, all those Super Bowl winners are or have been at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. And at the same time, the market is whatever the market is. And when you get guys like Kirk Cousins, who else was just got a big one? Kirk Cousins got that huge deal in Minnesota. Um, Garoppolo got a huge deal, and none of them have done anything. And so that's just the market. And when that's where the market's at, you have no choice but to deal with those numbers. I mean, Prescott's not going to take $20 million a year in a market that's saying 30 to 35 is the going rate. And the guys like Brady. Brady's not even the top 10 paid quarterbacks in the league, I don't think.
Oh yeah.
So, and he's fine with it. He doesn't care. He has a wife that works.
Yeah.
But he wants to be sure that he has the team around him.
Chris, coming up at the half. There you go, Tony.
All right, let's see here. Trying to find that play you're talking about. All right, so we're getting close. Probably. I think it flags the big plays. Oh yeah, that is definitely pass interference, and they should have called.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
And they didn't call it. Okay. And particularly in the preseason, I thought, why wouldn't you just challenge that just to see what happens? He wasn't
even just holding back. He's literally grabbed the whole way.
He's got him, for 5 or 6 steps, holding his shoulder pad.
Yeah, I'm gonna share that with everybody too. Give me just a second here.
And the fact that they didn't challenge it, I thought was weird. And then, of course, the next play, he throws a pick six. How the whole day would have been different had they challenged that. And then,
just look at this. As soon as they turn, look, he's got a hold of his jersey the whole way.
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt even if he wasn't holding him like that.
I don't know that he would have caught it, but that's irrelevant.
The fact that
it was defensive pass interference the whole way, not calling it.
Yeah.
And then the next play, throwing a pick six, it turned the whole game around.
It did. I mean, it was a 3-3 game at that point, but it's just wow. What other good scores do we have from last week? Any other games that stood out to you from last week?
I watched a lot, or not a lot, but I watched the Daniel Jones series for the Giants, and he looked like a different guy from week one. Week one, he was perfect. This week, I don't even know what.
2 fumbles lost, yeah.
Yeah, he lost 2 fumbles. He was underthrowing players. It was just like he was a different guy, which I guess, there's a process that you go through when you're learning, and that you go up and down and up and down. And last week was a real up. This is a real down. You can't really say anything except this is all part of the learning process, and we'll see what happens next week. And hopefully there's more highs than there are lows.
Yeah, because, I mean, he went 11 of 14, which isn't bad at all.
Yeah, but he was
fumbles,
just
fumbled
twice, and then the passes he missed were just horrific. I mean, like bouncing balls to guys, throwing way short, and he was just off his game compared to the week before. I didn't get to see Cleveland last week, so I don't know how that offense looked.
Let's see here. Who did they play?
I did see the Denver game. I forget who they play. Denver, Arizona, actually. No, it was the Raiders in Arizona. Kyler Murray was abysmal in that game.
Well,
he really was.
Looks like it was a defensive game because it was mostly punts and 3 and outs.
Yeah. And for me, when I'm watching preseason, the first thing I look for is efficiency. Is the team coherent and efficient in moving the ball or stopping the ball? And in this instance, neither offenses did much at all. Flacco looked okay. He had some, he had a couple nice completions, but there was not much scoring. And that's part of, offensive efficiency. And when you can't get that, that's when I get a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I was looking at the Browns game. The Gilbert was doing all right. He had 2 touchdowns, but it was pretty much just an entirely defensive game. Wow, interception, field goal, punt for the.
I also think too,
Broncos.
there's no game planning or anything in week 2 of the preseason, so they're just kind of out there doing it, and that might also add to the fact that overall I didn't see the sharpness in week 2 that I saw in week 1.
Yeah.
And I guess that's to be expected. Week 3 obviously is, as you were saying, the big dress rehearsal for some teams. Other teams it won't be. The Chargers still aren't going to play Bosa or Ingram or Rivers or, most of their starters. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Now, Jerry Tillery for the Chargers did finally play their number 1 pick last week. He had a sack on a brilliant move. I mean, he bull rushed the guy in front of him and then used the swim technique to move past the center and just leveled Tyson Hill. So for the Saints,
and an assist plus the sack and fumble loss.
Yeah, and
forced fumble. Yeah.
Yeah, he played really well.
Yeah. Oh, looks like he did.
Which was the first time I'd seen him because he hadn't been practicing.
Yeah.
So suddenly now he's out there, and it's kind of nice to see your first round draft pick perform. So I got a feeling that he'll be part of the rotation on that defensive line, starting right away.
Wow. Going back to the San Francisco game, I'm looking at the bottom line before you click on the actual game. Garoppolo went 1 for 6, 0 yards,
0 yards,
an interception, and a 0 passer rating on 3 drives.
Yeah, he was awful, just awful.
Yeah.
I saw that series, and was just staring, going, "Throw the ball to him." He's another one who's bouncing balls, throwing them short, overthrowing.
Yeah.
I forget the completion he had. It must have been like a swing pass to a back or something, because he didn't do anything downfield. Obviously, with 0 passing yards.
I mean, he did about as well as the Seahawks' third-string quarterback, JT Barrett, 0 for 3 with an interception.
Paxton Lynch looked okay for you guys.
Yeah, 6 of 15. I mean, not quite 50%, but he has solid outings, which is nice.
Yeah.
So interesting to see that. Looks like what's his name that played week 1?
Geno Smith?
Yeah. Didn't play at all. Did he even dress? That's the question.
The problem. And that was probably his best game then. Because that guy can't play at all. So there you go. So we're coming into week 3, which is, everyone's now itching to get to that opening day, which is 2 weeks away, is it?
2 weeks, yeah.
The Thursday night Bears and Packers. And Packers, I'm interested to see. If I were picking right now, I'd be picking the Bears in that game.
The Packers have so much, but they're giving Rodgers the rest.
They got a rookie head coach. They got a new system. They're coming into Soldier Field. Chicago's a much more, mature team. They have a much more steady offense. They're more secure in their system than Green Bay is. And I really have to think that Chicago is going to walk away with the win there. I will be picking them as part of my parlay, as a matter of fact. And but I'm interested to see how Green Bay does, come together with this, with everything that's so new there. And it's been the same for so long. It's a really big adjustment.
I might have a hard time picking the Bears. Apparently they're having issues with their kicker battle. And Nagy's taking a lot of heat for it.
Kickers are few and far between these days.
They are. That's a sad thing. Let's see. The NFL has a interesting article here. New faces turning heads. Each team's promising rookies thus far. Promising rookie or rookies. Oh, come on. Why are you not wanting to open up for me? Oh, the internet. You gotta love it. There we go. Had a dead link there for a second. Written by Chris Wesseling.
You know, you look at the number 1 overall, Kyler Murray had a decent outing against the Chargers week 1, but like I said, 6 of 7, 44 yards and a punt. So he didn't really do anything significant as far as moving the ball goes. This past week, he had a horrific game. Was just they were blitzing him like crazy, and they just took everything away, and he couldn't get anything done. Which, but he's a rookie, so it's going to take him some time. I don't see him being the turnaround player of the year or, rookie of the year at this point in time, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Quinnen Williams. Has he played at all yet for the Jets?
I haven't
heard a word about him in I don't know how long.
Yep.
Nick Bosa, of course, is injured still, so he's not playing for San Francisco.
Yep.
Now I'm out of sequence. I don't know who else was drafted that high.
Well, let's see. They're starting off with Baltimore with a 4th-round running back who's, missed breaking tackles and missed tackles and jump cuts behind the line of scrimmage. So it looks like he's doing pretty good. Kristen Wade is apparently what position does he play? A tailback, apparently, huh? Oh, no. Former rugby player on the English national team. Yeah, I have no clue who Christian Wade is. I'll have to look him up in a minute. Devin Singletary pushes LaShawn McCoy and Frank Gore for touches this season. So, let's see here.
Greedy Williams for the Browns is already running with the starters. That kind of surprises me. I saw a segment on the NFL Network where he went back to his alma mater, and the safety for the Jets, whose name is now escaping me, was went to the same school, so they kind of went back together. And Greedy Williams was so tiny, standing next to this guy. Who's the safety for the Jets? The All-Pro. Duh. Anyway, so I'm really surprised to see that he's doing as well as he is. And then 5th-round linebacker Mack Wilson, how he dropped to the 5th round, I have no idea. I was screaming in the 2nd round for the Chargers to take him. He was just a tackle machine, and he's got, I think, 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions, a touchdown, and a bunch of QB hurries already. And I just think he's going to be a starter for them before too long.
Yeah, I think it's getting into the swing of things with that defense because it might be just a little bit different. You know what I mean? For him.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Trying to find.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit. See who else is there. Dalton Reisner. Yeah, well, we expected that, and we expected Noah Fant to be good.
Let's see here. I'm trying to find the
Paris Campbell was supposed to be something, but apparently he hasn't been playing.
Yeah.
Nothing really happening there in Indianapolis. Who are the guys that we? The Chargers, Nasir Adderley. He's just rejoined the practice yesterday. And Jerry Tillery had as I already said, had a good game against the Saints.
Oh.
Wasn't it Keneal Harry been doing? Steven Cornflux, all eyes have been on 1st-round pick. Camp sensation Jacoby Myers.
Chase
Oh, and
Winovich.
Chase Winovich has been unblockable.
Yeah.
I gotta watch. I haven't watched the Patriots. I gotta watch them. See
Yeah.
see how they're doing.
So yeah, Christian Wade is for the Buffalo Bills, the one that I was trying to figure out what he was doing. The rugby player.
Oh
He's a
yeah, they were
he's a
talking
running
about
back.
him on the radio yesterday. Jamal Adams is the safety for the Jets. Duh. Chase Winovich has been unblockable. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Quinnen Williams, bulldozing veteran guard Jamon Browns into Matt Ryan's lap, forcing a holding penalty.
Oh, so he has been playing. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Good. Looks like he's making a difference too.
So that looks good. Raiders already given starter treatment to first round running back Josh Jacobs. Let's see.
And that I'm watching Hard Knocks. You see Hunter Renfro. They make a lot of fun of him because he's so skinny and little,
Yeah.
but he is a fierce receiver, boy. He's that Julian Edelman kind of guy, except Edelman has a build on him. This kid looks like Tom Brady's combine picture. It was just ridiculous. But boy, you put him on the field and he can scoot around. I haven't seen Bush play either, so these are the teams I got to start looking at.
Already tasked with calling Pittsburgh's defense. Bush is getting hands-on instruction from former All-Pro Ryan Shazier. He might just enter the season as the favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year honors.
Yeah, that could be. That could be very well.
Yeah.
I saw a little clip on Shazier this morning. He was working out. He's moving pretty good, but he was doing that drill where you start flat and then you jump up onto a box that's 3 feet high.
Yeah.
And he had a guy spotting him, but he did it. So he is starting to move and starting to get some agility back. So I don't know if I would ever want to play again if I was him, but he seems to be moving in that direction, which is interesting.
The preseason is a pigskin Rorschach test. If you harbor the opinion that number 1 overall pick is bound to take his lumps on a talent deficient team behind a porous offensive line with a neophyte head coach, the first 2 weeks of action functionally confirmed that bias.
Yeah. It's a pretty big experiment they're doing in Arizona. And this happens every once in a while. You bring the guys in with the run and shoot offense, and you bring the guys in that do something else different. And now it's Kingsbury coming in with his deal. And if they have, they might have immediate success, and then the league will adjust and shut them down. But who knows? Who knows? Yep. I certainly wouldn't be picking them early, that's for sure. But
Chris
we'll see.
And Caleb McGarry need to step in and immediately fortify the offensive line, and it's been mixed results so far. Brian Burns announced his presence with authority, notching a pair of sacks in just 10 snaps during his preseason debut. That's promising.
Yep, that's good for them. I've seen a little bit of the Panthers play, but not Burns particularly.
Bears.
David Montgomery, he's been playing well.
Yeah.
I've seen him a couple times.
Tony Pollard obviously has been doing good because, no Zeke to overshadow him. TJ Hawkinson finally caught his first pass last week.
Yeah, I'll be seeing him live. I'm going to go to the Detroit Charger game in Detroit on week 2.
Be interesting to see. You should bring the commish up with you too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I forgot. I should call
him. Packers camp darling is T.Y. Summers. He's missed tackles in the inside linebacker position, and Rashawn Gary is struggling against run defense. Wow. Darnell Savage appears to be as advertised, starting at safety alongside Adrian Amos.
Oh, good for him.
averaging a measly 2.4 yards on a dozen carries. The third-round running back Darrell Henderson has yet to demonstrate the talent that the Rams fans salivated over a 1-2 backfield punch with Todd Gurley. Second-round safety Taylor Rapp is getting glowing praise, so that's good.
Garrett Bradbury has just been phenomenal, from what I understand.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at it, but I think he's the reason why we were having such issues last week. Newly christened Hall of Famer Grail Brandt listed the second-round center Eric McCoy as one of the NFL's rookie risers early in camp. An already established starter McCoy might just have be an upgrade on Max Unger. That was the stupidest trade the Seahawks have ever made. Our line has not been the same since.
Well, not necessarily the stupidest.
No, I will agree with that. But in recent memory, how about
that? Up until the time they didn't sign, what's his name, the guard?
Yeah.
Steve
Hutchinson.
Hutchinson, yeah. Let him get away.
Yeah. We could have went back to the Super Bowl that season after if we had him.
I think the GM got fired over that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Because of the way they let him be a transition guy instead of a franchise tag. And then Minnesota put the poison pill in that said if he plays more than 8 games in the state of Washington, he needs to be the highest paid offensive lineman in the league.
It's a 5'6" punt returner, Dante Harris, who's opening more eyes in this preseason action for the Saints. Sounds interesting. I'll have to go watch him. After pitching a perfect season debut, the first-round quarterback Darryl Jones continued to move the offense versus Chicago, completing 11 of 14. His ability to shake free in the pocket and make all of the throws are traits that Eli Manning began losing a few years ago. It's worth asking if the Giants will regret road blocking their rookie from the competition as the Browns did with Baker Mayfield. Remember Tyrod Taylor a year ago?
Yes, he's very strongly backing up Phillip Rivers right now. And thank you for that, Tyron.
Mike Sanders.
Bosa again, hurt.
Cody Burton. Oh, yeah.
Well, Deebo Samuels and Jalen Hurd are both playing well in San Francisco, and that was to be expected, so that's good to see.
Yeah.
Metcalf is, unfortunately for you guys, about to have surgery.
Yeah, although it's not sounding as bad as it was initially being reported.
Yeah.
So that's a good. He'll still be out a while, but maybe not as long. Jazz Ferguson. Yeah, he's been pushing Metcalf this whole.
Yeah, I love these undrafted guys that they come in and really make a lot of noise.
Yeah, Devin White.
Devin White. I haven't seen him play yet, but I sure do want to. And then, of course, the quarterback situation in Washington.
How did he do last week? Struggled with consistency and decision making, of course. Jimmy Moreland is playmaking machine in the secondary. Third-round receiver Terry McLaurin, who has unexpectedly seen just one snap so far. Wow. Has he been deemed so valuable that Coach Jay Gruden doesn't want to risk injury?
Good for him.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So what do we get this week? The Chargers and the Seahawks.
Oh, we have. Yeah.
Boom.
We'll see who comes out on top because
we got an interesting situation here in Las Vegas. I've got the Sunday, the DirecTV Sunday ticket, and DirecTV is having a contract dispute with CBS. So currently in Las Vegas, DirecTV subscribers do not get CBS. It hasn't been an issue for me. I was kind of tired of Stephen Colbert anyway. And so it's just not been an issue. Come to find out, I guess I don't watch that much stuff on CBS, but CBS is the AFC presenter during the regular season. And on the Sunday ticket, If the game is shown locally, it's blacked out on the Sunday ticket, and you have to watch the local channel. So I've got to put a call into them and find out that if this contract thing continues, that I will be able to see my Chargers play on direct on the Sunday ticket, because it's not being shown in my local market, even though it says it is.
Yeah,
that will piss me off. I'll tell you right now.
I'll send you the login information for my Game Pass. You can watch it after the game's done.
I don't want to watch it after the game's done. I want to watch it live. I have to go to a sport, one of the sports books to watch it. That'll piss me off too.
You could always just buy cable for CBS.
So,
the basic.
Yeah, I think there's a CBS East Coast feed that I can get, but that doesn't always show the same football game either.
No, it doesn't, because it's regional.
Yeah. So, and I'm hoping that we have mostly Raider games shown locally, because, to gear up the market for the coming onslaught of the Oakland Raiders. But if they're playing a late game or an early game, I don't know what, and they'll put the Chargers on here. And if the Chargers are on CBS, it better also be available on the Sunday ticket.
Yep.
Anyway, those are my problems. So.
Yep. I don't have an issue with Fox or having to deal with DirecTV. So the only reason why I would get it is if I moved out of the Seattle market. So that way I could get my Seattle.
Well, there you go. There you go. All right. We got anything else? Is that it?
That's all I have. I don't have
All right. Great, guys. Everybody listening, enjoy the rest of week 3 of the preseason. And I know you're all salivating, waiting for that opening day. So it's coming faster than we anticipate. Already August 22nd. So enjoy the upcoming week.
Yep. Next week's, let's see. Next week I'm getting a crown. So we'll probably either do it Wednesday or Friday. So we may do it before the games. We may do it after the games, because I believe they're all done on Thursday next week.
Okay. No, there's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I thought they usually did all on one day.
The last week, week 4, they're all on Thursday.
That's what I'm saying. Next week is week 4. So like I was saying, depending on when we do the podcast, we may have score results, we may not. So, all right. Well, it's been fun, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and catch us next week for the week 4 and talking about the first week of the regular season.
Here it comes. And we'll be giving you Vegas odds and telling you where to put your dough.
And then just a little side note, I will be doing a fantasy football draft on the Tuesday, so that will be the 3rd of September. I'll be streaming it on my own personal channel, Thoughts by Jay Brown. If you want to check it out there, it's me and my friends. I don't know if I'll have their audio put in because we don't actually talk, but I'm going to try and convince them to join meets, and we all can talk and do that fun stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Later, Take it easy, guys.